These guys you're about to meet are one of two things. Either they inspired scenes in Prison Break or binged way too much of it. But all their attempts at a jailbreak just ended up being a huge heartbreak. Here are the top 15 prison escapes that went horribly wrong. What's up, Facnatics? Welcome to Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. Stay tuned for our number one pick, because when it comes to epic escape fails, they are guilty as charged. Now, let's get dancing to the jailhouse rock. Number 15, Hole in the Wall. Here's a man who might have overestimated his weight loss regimen. See, when his fellow inmate was able to successfully go through the hole they had made in the shower wall of a prison in Ceres, Brazil, Rafael Valadão was overcome with confidence. But when it was his turn to squeeze his way out to freedom, the stocky convict ended up getting wedged halfway through the wall. When the other prisoners tried to push him so they too could escape, Valadão started to scream in pain, alerting the guards. Instead of breaking free, he just ended up breaking a rib. Keep watching, because our top one escape plan was a classic case of it's so bad, it's good. Number 14, Trapped. Now, in all fairness, this next guy looked skinny enough to successfully escape through a door hole, but just like the first one, he got too confident for his own good. In this footage, firefighters can be seen trying to free a suspected thief who got stuck in a tiny door hole after attempting to flee a police station in Santa Catarina, Brazil. The responders even tried to pour sunflower oil over the man's body in hopes of getting him to slide out of the hatch. And judging by the color of the guy's undies, it seems that purple is the new black. Number 13, Trash and Burn. This next trick was so dirty that prison guards smelled something fishy right from the get-go. When the garbage collection was about to take place that day, William Alves, an inmate who had been working in the kitchen of a Brazilian prison, wasted no time squeezing himself inside a garbage can. However, his rubbish plan was foiled when one of the jail officers tried to move the bin and wondered why it weighed as heavy as an average man. Too bad he wasn't recyclable. Number 12, The Two Stooges. In 2009, in a local courthouse in Brazil, no, I'm kidding. This one's in New Zealand. One man was convicted of assault and was sentenced to 2 years in prison, while another was in custody for parole violation and car theft. As they were being led from the police cell, the two inmates tried to make a break for it and ran out into the street. Run, Forrest, run! But as they were fleeing, the two inmates forgot they were handcuffed to each other, and this lamppost wasn't about to let them get away. So, what do you call a lamppost that foils criminals? A police! Oh, goodness. Number 11, Down to the Wire. A word to the wise: if you're planning on escaping, make sure you're physically fit for it. Don't be like these two prisoners from Henrico Jail East in Virginia. After successfully going over the first security fence, the two inmates can be seen in this CCTV footage trying to scale a second razor wire fence surrounding the recreation yard. They tried everything from propping an aluminum bench to covering the razor wire with a coat, but all the effort proved to be too exhausting for the aspiring escape artists. Once they got past that second fence, they were already too injured and out of breath to move forward with their escape plan. Razor wire 1, inmates 0. Number 10, Swinging for the Fence. Looks like razor wires are on a winning streak against prisoners, because just like our previous entry, this female inmate also tried but miserably failed to conquer a barbed wire fence. In 2017, news cameras flooded this Western Sydney jail as they documented a woman who got stuck on top of a 10-meter wired fence. It took an army of fire crews, paramedics, corrections officers, and even a cherry picker to finally pull the woman out of the wire and bring her back behind bars. Razor wire 2, inmates 0. Number 9, Snoopy-ing Around. This next story is so wacky we can't possibly make this stuff up. In May 2010, a man tried to free his relative from the HM prison in the Isle of Wight in the UK. His brilliant idea? Barge into the prison site dressed up as Snoopy while carrying a water pistol. But that wasn't even the most outrageous part. Turns out the family member he was trying to jailbreak was held at a different site inside of the prison complex. Alas, the correctional cosplay was all for naught. Number 8. The Snitch. Most prisoners want to break out, but not Joshua Silverman. Be more like Joshua. Why? Keep watching. In September 2013, 8 inmates, including Silverman, were being transported to another facility. When the police escorts made a stopover at a hospital in Oklahoma, 2 of the inmates stole the van in a bid to escape. However, when the van stopped somewhere, Silverman took the opportunity to phone 911 to report the incident.
What was your emergency? I'm a prisoner, man. Some guys that were in the van. Jacked the van in the hospital.
Where are the rest of the prisoners?
We're all in the van. The 2 of the dudes took off.
I sure hope he got his jail time reduced for being such a model inmate. Number 7. One day more. I dare you not to facepalm after hearing our next story. If only patience was one of inmate Andrew Wilson's virtues, he would have been living as a free man by now. You see, when Wilson escaped on December 11, 2013 while he was on work release and drove off in a stolen vehicle, he was unaware that he was scheduled to be paroled the very next day. When he gets caught, he will be facing at least another 20 years in prison for escape charges. If only he had listened when Janet Jackson sang, "Let's wait a while." Number 6. Drag Runner. Drag legend RuPaul sure won't be happy with this next inmate. Oh no, honey. In April 2012, Brazilian inmate Ronaldo Silva thought he could deceive the guards by camouflaging in his wife's clothes. When Silva's wife came to visit, he put on her bra, threw on a wig, slipped into a nice light blue dress, and completed his look with a pair of stilettos. Now that was his mistake, because sashaying on high heels takes years to master, as any woman or a real drag queen would know. Needless to say, his awkward strut gave him away.
Shantae, you stay.
Shantae, you stay in jail. Number 5. Hapless Hitcher. If this man wasn't a believer of karma before his botched escape plan, I'm pretty sure he became one right after. While Andrew Lewis was being transported to another facility, he complained that his handcuffs hurt, so the officers pulled over to fix them. However, when one cuff was released, a struggle ensued and Lewis fled barefoot. Yes, that was the plan. His prison break seemed to be going smoothly until he made it to a nearby highway and tried to hitch a ride. Unfortunately, the driver of the car he hailed was a police officer, and the dangling handcuffs on Lewis's arm was a dead giveaway. He was apprehended and returned to prison, only now he's additionally facing a hefty escape charge. Right place, right time, wrong car. Number 4. Return to sender. This next pick is a real bombastic plan if only the mastermind double-checked his conspirators' mailing address. In 2018, 43-year-old Sean Damian Castorina was serving his jail time in Alamance County Detention Center when he decided he's had enough of his lockup and plotted an explosive plan to escape. However, he sent the letter containing the elaborate, carefully planned strategy of bombing the prison walls to the wrong address. Instead of returning to sender, the recipient of the snail mail alerted the authorities. I guess you can say the letter fell into the right hands. Number 3. Fancy escape. Some guys just wanted to escape prison in any way possible, but our next pick wanted to storm out of the castle in grand fashion. In Australia, 3 hardened criminals serving jail time got the idea to escape from prison by enlisting SAS soldiers living in the Philippines. However, the plan was leaked and our trio haplessly fell into the authorities' trap. The plan involved a helicopter which was supposed to fetch the inmates from the prison tennis court, and then they would be transferred to a yacht and run off into the sunset. Of course, None of that happened as the police just waited at the tennis courts until the three arrived. They were promptly arrested and escorted back to their respective cells. Nevertheless, it was a solid strategy, filed under brilliant plans ruined by a rat. Number 2. Skyfall. Unlike our previous entry, this next inmate actually had some flight time before being back on the cold, hard ground. 34-year-old Benjamin Barry Kramer was facing a life sentence at a federal prison in southwest Dade County after he was convicted of running a multi-million-dollar drug ring. Kramer and some other inmates were in the courtyard playing basketball during their 2-hour recreation period when all of a sudden a helicopter flew into the yard to pick up Kramer. However, as the chopper was about to leave, a portion of it snagged on the fence. The helicopter flipped over and crashed back into the courtyard. Kramer and the pilot were immediately sent to the hospital and were in serious condition. Kramer suffered a fractured leg while the pilot sustained 2 broken legs, fractured facial bones, and an eye injury. We're finally down to our number 1 pick, but before that, make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app's settings. Number 1. Hijacked Love Story. Choppers being the getaway vehicle of choice seems to be an ongoing trend in this video. In 1978, a woman named Barbara Annette Oswald hijacked a helicopter to save her convicted lover from captivity. She pointed a gun at the pilot's head and told him to head to the U.S. Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois, to free Garrett Trapnell, who was a well-known conman, robber, and air pirate. However, the pilot managed to take the gun from Oswald and shot her in the head. But the story doesn't end there. Oswald's daughter was convinced that Trapnell was her long-lost father, so she decided to finish the jailbreak job her mom started. The daughter decided to hijack a flight carrying 80 passengers for an hour, claiming she was strapped to layers of bombs beneath her shirt. Fortunately, the flight crew called her bluff and detained her. Here's the kicker, though. When Trapnell was interrogated, he said the girl couldn't possibly have been his daughter because he and the deceased Oswald had never met in the first place. He's one smooth criminal indeed. Attention, Mr. Spielberg, I have a film pitch. So, if they actually succeeded, which of these escape plans would you find the most ingenious? Let us know in the comments section below. Take home our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf or clicking the link in the video description. And while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? And if you're craving more guilty pleasure, check out our list of the 15 strangest last meal requests on death row. Till then, stay clever, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.